Even if you don't have a baby, I think most of us can agree that thousands of dollars for a stroller seems crazy, right? As a new dad, I've recently learned that what you roll up to the local park pushing says a lot about you. And I have come to learn that the whole stroller world is frankly terrifying. Thank you to True Earth for sponsoring this video. Now, if you happen to not be a parent, let me explain something real quick. The second that you welcome your little bundle of joy into the world, you are initiated into a legit secret society that has its own rules, hierarchies, and social expectations that I do not fully understand to this day. We are actually considering a whole series on the parenting phenomenon, so let us know if that's of interest. But one of the most shocking things for me as a new parent was our stroller. Turns out that strollers are kind of like the cars for the baby posturing world. What you roll up to the date in is a big cultural signifier in North America, and the stroller is just the baby version of that. See, I have learned that there is no such thing as just a stroller. There's a jogging stroller, all-terrain stroller, high-tech strollers, double strollers, umbrella strollers, bassinet strollers, even tactical strollers, all of which cost at least a couple $100s. Now, which one you choose as a parent is determined by a number of interrelating factors. Are you like an active, outdoorsy parent, or are you like an urban coffee shop patio parent? Are you having more than one? Are you having more than 2 kids? And then, of course, how much do you want to flex on the other tired people at the playground? See, whether you like it or not, the thing that you use to move your kid around is a part of your identity as a parent. It's the public face in the mall, in the park, or in the grocery store. Whether you have a Graco Lux, a Bumble Ride Indy, or a Silver Cross Kensington, it says something about the kind of parent that you are or want to be. And this is nothing new at all. The first strollers were legit pony or goat drawn carriages for little royals. Then, as the early urban landscape came into play, strollers became a thing for the upper class to flaunt the fact that they had somewhere to stroll, unlike all of the peasants without their private gardens. Is it weird that in all of Downton Abbey there is not a single scene with a stroller? There's babies in Downton Abbey, aren't there? I don't think there's a single scene of a stroller in Downton Abbey. What are we gonna use for B-roll? As you may be able to see by the drying rack full of diapers, I am a new dad and I'm doing laundry like crazy, and True Earth came in clutch to make this sponsorship happen, but also to make my life a lot easier. I've been using True Earth laundry strips for years now, and I swear by them. Huge annoying jugs like this are annoying to cart around. It's difficult to figure out what the right ratios are. But with True Earth, it's really simple. Pull out one of these strips. You can choose to do 1 load or 2, or a half load if you don't have that much to clean. Our go-to product from True Earth lately, though, has been the baby fragrance-free option because we wash a lot of baby clothes because I'm a new dad. On top of all of this, they are a registered B Corporation and they are based local to me in Vancouver, British Columbia, which is awesome. If you want to try them for yourselves, they now have a subscription service so you can have your strips delivered to your door on a monthly, bi-monthly, or quarterly basis. We love True Earth. We think you're gonna love True Earth. So if you want to try them out, you can get 10% off using the code FUTUREPROOF or the link down in the description below. A huge thank you to True Earth for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back into it. Eventually, of course, though, strollers became the norm for just about every parent in this part of the world. But there has been a huge gap between the cheap, tacky models available for the common folk and the hand-painted, chrome-plated, real leather handled prams that the royals were pushing around since 1877 or whatever. But this all changed, actually, relatively recently, because men, just like myself, got more involved in childcare. Now, I'm not saying that we dudes just came in and like reinvented the stroller, but kind of. Tell me, what do dudes do when they got a project that needs doing? We need a job that needs getting done. You know, a baby that needs love, care, and tenderness. We buy the best possible tools to get the job done and then Google how to do it afterwards.
If you can't fix something, Chuck a fucking wrench across the room. Be a man.
I don't need to tell you, probably, that for a long time, the norm was that moms stayed at home with the kids while dad went out and worked outside of the house. But everything changed when that dynamic started to shift. Today, moms also are allowed to have careers, and more than ever, daddy's in charge of getting the baby to the grocery store. I'm probably not gonna refer to myself as daddy again, ever, but specifically in this video, hopefully. If any of you weird motherfuckers comment daddy in the comments of this video, you better not. If I see a single daddy comment, I will pin it. I will pin that sucker, and that will teach you to not leave daddy comments on our videos. With dads doing more of the housework, the products being bought for the baby needed to suddenly appeal to more than just mom's tastes. My dad actually was one of the first ever stay-at-home dads back in the day when it was essentially illegal, and he refused to use a stroller throughout my childhood because he said that they were too feminine and lame. Instead, he opted to drag me around in a red radio flyer wagon, which I gotta say is actually sick as f. But we're not as cool as my dad. And today, dads are pushing around strollers more than ever, but not just any stroller would do. Next thing you know, dads are out there stroller shopping with the way that they look for power tools. And designers, who by and large happen to also be men, picked up on this, and now the first ever dad stroller was born. In 1999, Bugaboo released its first buggy, and what might just be the first ever stroller designed specifically for fathers. Co-founder Max Berenberg told The Guardian how he wanted to appeal to men by bringing beauty, simplicity, and joy into the design. He wanted it to be all-terrain and good for jogging because it was a man that had to be behind this stroller. Now, if you're thinking beauty, simplicity, and joy, that doesn't exactly feel like the manliest vocabulary that the guy could have leaned into, but don't worry, it gets better. I kid you not, the Bugaboo logo with the overlapping circles is literally inspired by the view through a gun barrel, like from the James Bond opening sequence. Only a f***ing dude would think of an instrument of war when coming up with baby care logos. But of course, you know, we can't do anything in moderation today. This has gone way too far in some cases. If you are a super insecure bro alpha dad with a short guy complex, you can get the friggin' tactical stroller, which is basically your typical luxury stroller, but with a strip of camo on it. Danny Gonzalez made a hilarious video on this thing, if you want to see that. But all of that weird shit aside, Berenberg actually created something totally different than anything else on the market at the time. In 2001, he released the Bugaboo Frog. It was sleek, stylish, sturdy, collapsible, reversible, and suitable for a bunch of different scenarios. But perhaps most importantly, it was sort of somewhat affordable for the middle class. Today, you can pick up a complete Bugaboo butterfly for $600. But if you want to be a real man, you can get yourself decked out with the fully completed Bugaboo Fox, with a way better name, for an easy 1,600 ding-dongs. But the Bugaboo Frog was important. In 2002, the buggy made an appearance on Sex and the City, and suddenly it was a brand that anyone could rock. Next thing you know, Bugaboos are everywhere. It was the perfect option for people who wanted to ball out a little bit, but they didn't want to look like they were balling it out. You know what I mean? And here's the thing. By many accounts, the Bugaboo Frog was legitimately better than anything else that was available to the average parent at that time. It truly was a functionally better option for most people. The Prius of the stroller world, if you will. And it inspired a whole new generation of the performance pram. See, nowadays, even the lower tier strollers have much of the same features as the OG Bugaboo did. You can get a collapsible stroller for just about $100, and strollers across the price range have taken inspiration from Berenberg's simple yet versatile design. But of course, our story doesn't end here because we always need more. Where Bugaboo might have been the pioneer, the luxury brand dominating the park trails and malls of America today is UPPaBaby. The UPPaBaby Vista is a carbon frame, all-terrain, full-wheel suspension stroller with real leather accents that is going to transport your tiny little crap factory around. And this sleek design is pretty much everywhere in the city if you look for it. Now, if that description felt more like a BMW advertisement, that's because it was on purpose. UPAbaby founder Bob Monahan explicitly stated that his goal was to take almost any functionality that you'd see in an automotive and then translate that into a stroller, down to the cool colors and anodized aluminum. We're literally turning strollers into cars. And you can get a BMW knockoff stroller for the very low price of $1,500. So what's wrong with that? But of course, the strollers of tomorrow are only gonna get more out of control. Already we have battery-powered models that sync to your phone. They can monitor your baby's temperature and rock your baby to sleep for you. Baby Yoda's floating bassinet thing didn't even do that. And listen, honestly, all of this is okay if it's what checks all your boxes and you're gonna get years and years of use out of this thing, you know, whatever. But the crazy thing to me is that these strollers really have become a point of tension for a lot of families. What stroller you buy kind of matters now because other parents are judging you based on the stroller that you own. I've personally felt this. At a party in the summer, a woman came up to me and my wife and she said, "Oh, you went with the baby jogger. We had one of those with our first, and for our next babies, we've decided to go with something a little more sturdy." A little more sturdy, dude? Are we getting, she's putting down our baby jogger, dude? I didn't even know the name of our stroller until she said it, and now I feel like we gotta buy a new one. And judging by what we've found on the internet from other parents, this is a very common occurrence. In bigger cities and places like New York or Toronto, where there's a lot of money and a lot of foot traffic, people will flat out give you dirty looks for pushing around your common Graco. Just last year, a TikTok of this experience went viral, and boy oh boy, did people have some feelings about that. And the thing is that the judgment goes on both sides. You have douchey rich people who don't want to fraternize with people who can't afford expensive stuff, and then there are legit people who will avoid a parent with an expensive stroller. In reality, parents on both sides of the debate are more alike than not. We're all judging each other not because any of us has made a legitimately bad parenting choice, but just because we're so insecure about our own choices. So much of our purchasing decisions revolve around this one single reality, especially as parents. We all want to be good parents, so we just want to buy the thing that shows that we're being good parents. You might buy an UPAbaby because everyone else has it and it feels safe, or because it's the most expensive one that you can afford, and somehow spending more money makes you feel like you did the right thing. And it's not just me saying this. A professor of psychiatry also talks about this on what to expect. Becoming a parent is intensely emotional and leads you to make purchases for a bunch of really weird reasons. And these marketers are more than happy to exploit this. The Guardian suggests that one of the reasons why we are so obsessed with strollers specifically is because they're a means of forging our identities as parents. Today, we want to have babies and stay avid travelers with an impressive career and a cool sense of style. But the reality is, all of that becomes 10 times harder when you're a parent. Believe me. Do I look cool? Do I look well-traveled? Or do I look tired? Be honest. I'm kidding, my kid's fucking awesome. He's really good. But I am tired. A lot of the time. You wanna know something really crazy? Somehow, even though American birth rates are on the decline, we're actually spending more on baby supplies than ever before. And I don't think that it's just because of inflation. Parenting continues to get more expensive as we find ways to cope with the difficulties of life by throwing money at it. I feel like my generation of parents are trying to make parenting feel as little like parenting as possible, to feel like we haven't given up anything to do it. It turns out that all parents are just kind of faking it. And with the lack of sleep, emotional overload, and social pressure, you have this perfect combination for corporations to sell us shit that we don't really need. Once again, we have considered making a full series about parenting paradigm and how it has created all of these difficult consumer decisions. So let us know if you want to see more content along this vein. And if you did like this video, make sure to literally like it and subscribe to see more content every single week.